Teresa LaBarbera, and you're watching Connecticut Style. Coming up, as loved ones get older, it can be harder to find ways to communicate. Kathy Nitz created conversation cards to initiate meaningful dialogue between our loved ones. Plus, I recently spoke with celebrity chef and best-selling author Devin Alexander. She will share tips for staying on track health-wise during the holidays. And speaking of entertaining, I'm here with party hostess diva Liz Corbett. Nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So Liz, this can kind of be a stressful time of the year if you're throwing parties, even if you're attending parties. You have some helpful hints for us?
I sure do. The #1 rule is just relax. Take a step back, take a deep breath. It's all about having fun. If you're stressed, that your guests are going to pick up on it and they're not going to enjoy themselves.
Good point.
So a good key is be prepped and have everything done as much as possible ahead of time. So when your guests walk in the door, you're just kind of in the zone and you're relaxing with them.
I like the sound of that. We'll learn how to do that, and we're also going to make a dessert today.
We certainly are.
All right, sounds good to me. Help me start the show, Liz. Look into camera 2. Tell everyone at home what they need to do.
Sit back and relax. You are having lunch with style.
If you're a caregiver or have trouble communicating with senior relatives, our next guest might have a solution. Kathy Nitz is a caregiver coach and the creator and president of Caring Cards and joins us now on Connecticut Style. Thank you so much for being here, Kathy.
Thank you.
So let's take us back a little bit. This creation kind of started with your journey as becoming a caregiver to your mother.
Absolutely. It's definitely been a journey of the heart. My mom originally moved out here about 10 years ago. We started in Northwest Indiana, just outside Chicago, and she's widowed and moved out here. And I started with her living in an assisted living community, walking with a cane, and having just early signs of dementia. And then we transitioned her into memory care, where she was walking with a walker and showed mild signs of dementia. And now she is in a nursing home in a wheelchair with moderate signs of dementia. So it's been a transition, and I'm not alone. According to the Alzheimer's Association, there's over 5.4 million people with Alzheimer's. 5 million of those are actually people who are over 65 years and older. And there's also 15 million non-professional caregivers like myself. So
like sons and daughters who kind of step up, right?
Absolutely.
Some of the conversations begin to get difficult with you and your mother, and that's how you created these cards.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about them. Show me what's on the cards.
Okay, sure.
They're pretty simple.
Very simple. I mean, that's really the key to them, is to make them very simple, to have them easy to transport. But what happens oftentimes with caregiving is, especially with someone with dementia, there becomes a vacuum of conversation. They're often looking to me or to the caregiver to create the conversation.
Sure.
So sometimes we're tired from our day, or nothing's changed since the day before, so we really don't have anything to say. And so I created these cards with questions to really help prompt conversation. So yeah, so there's just cards with questions on them about all aspects of their lives, and it's very...
Some of them say, how do you know if someone loves you? That's interesting, because you asked your mother that. And what was her response?
I did, and it's no coincidence that's the first card in the deck. It actually chokes me up every time I think about it, because it's not a question I would have normally asked, but because it's in the deck, it's a question I put in there. And when I asked her that, she said, "Oh, it's easy, you feel it." And I said, "Well, what does it feel like?" And she said, "It's warm and soft." I mean, that's just a response I'll remember the rest of my life, and it's because I took time to sit down with her and ask the questions.
Some of them say, what birthdays do you remember? What was a major turning point in your life? So you're kind of revisiting all those memories, talking about them, and again, creating the conversation. What was your mom's reaction when you brought out the cards for the first time?
Well, it's interesting, because so often when we have our elders with us, we bring them along in the car for a ride, or they bring them over to our houses, and they really become witnesses to our lives. And so that we're not really necessarily engaging them. And so the first time I used the cards with her, we were in the car and running errands, and I was asking her questions along the way. And when we got home, she said to me, "I felt so included today."
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and it really made me realize that I had tapped into something that I hadn't previously tapped into. And being with a loved one is more than just having them along and witnessing your life. It's really engaging them in meaningful conversation.
And I'm sure you've seen a lot of success with these cards. I know that they're not just here in Connecticut, they're across the country, even worldwide.
Absolutely. testimonial from a woman in Australia. I could never have imagined that this would have happened.
Sure.
And she wrote to me and said that when her mom was in a nursing home, that she used them to engage her in conversation. And then after her mom passed, she took the cards and she called family and friends and she asked them the questions and built the eulogy around the responses to that. So that's just remarkable that halfway around the world somebody would use them like that.
Well, I have to ask you, where do we find these cards? How can we get a set of our own?
Well, for everyone can go to my website, which is caringcards.com, and then those that live in the area near Southbury, they're also sold at Newbury Place, in a gift shop in Southbury. So,
what did you enjoy most about raising children? These are topics you don't necessarily think to ask your parents.
That's true. And there's
talks about holidays.
Absolutely.
How did you come up with the questions?
Oh, well, I sat down in my office after that experience with my mom when I would go to lunch with her, say, for instance, and she'd ask 10 times in 15 minutes whether we'd ordered lunch. And so I realized I needed some questions. So I just started coming up with them, put them on a little piece of paper, carried them around in a little jewelry bag, and started using them that way.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for sharing these with us.
No, it's my pleasure.
Thanks for being here. All right, coming up next, I recently spoke with celebrity chef Devin Alexander about healthy eating around the holidays. We're going to share that interview with you after the break. But we're back here in the kitchen with all of our guests today. Now, Liz, we had some truffles. They were wonderful, but you have a lot of creations.
Yes.
Let's take a look at some pictures of these latest cupcakes. What are we? The Muppets, obviously. How'd you do this?
You know, this is handmade fondant, which is very much like Play-Doh, but it's sugar, it's edible, it's a lot of fun. Really, the sky's the limit on what you can make with this. This was requested to have one of each of the characters, and this was birthday cupcakes. Had a lot of fun with this. And if you see a picture, you can make it out of fondant.
Yeah, because the next one looks just like a hamburger, hot dog, and fries.
That was really fun. That was for a bunch of August birthdays all at once, and everything you're looking at is edible. Some of it is candy, pre-made items. This is what got me started, a hot tub with 4 people that look like the 4 people that requested the cake.
Wow.
She asked me if I could do it, and I like to challenge myself, so I said,
Give it a
sure.
shot,
And then I went, how am I going to do this? But I did okay, and that sort of started the love of doing these 3-dimensional sculpted cakes. It's a lot of fun.
It looks like you just pick it up and walk away with it.
Yeah, it was pretty much true to life size, and a lot of work, a lot of time though. I don't know if people realize how much time is involved with making some of these.
How long would that take you?
Oh gosh, the planning took me the longest. The executing didn't take me as long. This, you can only see part of it, but it's the profile of a pregnant mama belly, and that's very popular for baby showers. A cake like that typically would take me start to finish with all of the planning and the actual doing, I don't know, I'm saying 5 or 6 hours.
Oh, wow. And where do we get a hold of you
if
we need a cake?
Partyhostessdiva.com.
All right. Yep. And Kathy, tell us about Caring Cards one more time, where we can get them.
Caringcards.com.
And we were talking about it in the break. It's really not just for someone that's sick. It's great to have conversations with your family.
Absolutely. Really bridging generations through conversations is the mission.
The way to go. And we'll use those cards. Great. Ladies, thanks so much for being here. And we want to invite everyone to our ugly sweater party. We're having it on Christmas Eve. We want to see your pictures, so send me your ugly sweater pictures by Friday, and we'll see if we can get them into the show at Teresa LaBarbera at WTNH.com or on Twitter. Ladies, this has been fun.
Thank you.
Everyone at home, thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.